Pocket Full of Colors, The Magical World of Mary Blair, Disney Artist Extraordinaire, written by Mary Guglielmo and Jacqueline Tourville, illustrated by Bridget Berger. Under the wide blue sky, on a red dirt road, in a lemon yellow house, there was a little girl named Mary. Other children collected marbles or dolls, but Mary collected colors of every shade and every hue. One day, Mary's parents announced that they were moving out west. As she waved goodbye to the yellow house, Mary tucked her friend Lemon in her pocket. Mary would miss the happy home, but she had new colors to collect. Driving across the sun-bleached desert, Mary spied russet, taupe, and sienna. When she arrived to California, she glimpsed the azure ocean and found groves of golden fruit dripping with viridian trees. In the city, she discovered steel gray buildings and mauve tint skies. Mary opened her sketchbook. She mixed her paint, and she would save these shades just for the right time. When she was older, Mary went to art school where she met Lee. He showed her rosy pink and blushing red. She kept those colors in her heart. Together, Mary and Lee painted rainbows. But it was the Great Depression, and people were poor. No one was buying rainbows, except one place. Mary landed a job at Walt Disney Studios, one of the first women to ever be hired. Finally, a place for her colors to run and dance and play as they please. But on the first day of work, the men in charge did not want to talk about cerulean or celadon or cerise. They were interested in black and white. Mary was told to follow the rules. She tried, but her colors were too vivid, too wild. When Mary turned in her work, her ideas were rejected. Twinkling emerald skies, the men turned them blue. Magenta horses that could fly, the men turned them brown and put them in stables. Peach giraffes and with tangerine spots. Her bosses just shook their head. They didn't know what to make of her art. But Walt, the man who owned the company, did. He loved her colors so much, he asked Mary to join him to a trip to South America to meet some new ones. Mary delighted in the colors of Brazil, Argentina, and Peru. She worked hard to capture the vibrant sceneries. When it was time to go home, Mary's bags were bursting with fuchsia, teal, aquamarine, indigo, lime green, and banana yellow. After Mary returned to Disney, her concept of art for the studio's upcoming film grew even more adventurous as she drew upon the eye-popping shade she observed in South America. Cinderella needed a teal pumpkin coach. The caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland could only be aquamarine, and the mermaids in Peter Pan simply had to be lime green. This time, some of Mary's ideas were accepted, but most of her art was still considered too modern, too abstract, and not just right. Mary's colors encouraged her to leave the men with their black lines and strict rules. So she did. Mary quickly found new work designing advertisement, illustrating picture books for children, and creating sets for plays and television commercial. She enjoyed the freedom of these new jobs, but Mary missed Walt. Then one day, out of the blue, ring, ring, it was Walt. Mary, I have a project for you. I need your wild and beautiful colors. His voice boomed. Walt explained his idea to build a magical ride that would teach people about cultures from around the world. The ride had to be full of color, which meant there was only one person for the job. Mary, you know about colors I've never even heard before. Mary smiled, and then she frowned. She remembered the rules and the lines and the men in charge who didn't understand her colors and her style of art. There was only one way to answer. Yes, said Mary, but this came with one condition. This time, Mary wanted to be the one in charge. Walt welcomed her aboard. Mary's paint seemed to sparkle when she hung up the phone. She had never been to places like China, Morocco, and Kathmandu, but her colors had. Sitting down to work, she squeezed out dabs of paint. Lemon yellow, aquamarine, azure, mauve, taupe, tangerine, russet, sienna and steel gray, cerulean, celadon, cerise, magenta, teal, indigo, emerald shined from her palette. And when she picked up her brush, the colors Mary had so carefully collected all her life took her on a trip around the globe. When the work was done and the ride opened, people gasped with awe. It's a Small World was a sensation. When it was Mary's turn to take a ride, she leaned back on the boat and let her colors wash over her. It was a world of laughter, a world of smile, and color, color, color everywhere. The end.